I think it's time. Yes, it's time to bring history back to life.
Cool! It's amazing!
Creamer Cats TV.
Do you like collecting? Then please subscribe to my channel and don't forget to click on the like button because it does something very special. It makes you younger. Some people have been saying that my videos are over the top. OTT for short. But where did that fascinating phrase actually come from? Where did it originate from? The catchphrase over the top didn't evolve from early 20th century ladies' fashions, but it did start about the same time these original rare trade cards were issued, during the most significant war in the history of mankind, World War I. Over the top refers to the brave soldiers who actually went over the top of the trench parapets, and of course that more often than not led to their death. We effectively went from naively riding around on horses at the start of the war to experimenting with all sorts of strange military contraptions and weapons of mass destruction towards the end, including of course the first military tanks, which would play a huge role in the Second World War. Flying machines were used for military purposes for the very first time in World War I, initially for reconnaissance, in other words giving us a bird's eye view of what the enemy was up to, and then later of course for dropping things on the enemy, and certainly not love letters or bird droppings. The most deadly weapon in World War I was probably not the machine gun or mortar fire. It was the development of mass propaganda. Even Hitler, who during the First World War was a low-ranked soldier, even he secretly admired Britain's and her allies' propaganda machine. And of course, if he likes what you're doing, it's not something you want to shout from the rooftops. It's not something you want to be proud of. Of course, today we look back in disbelief at the cartoons our sides created, depicting the ordinary German people as baby-eating, Satan-worshipping barbarians. But these were the days when radio was in its infancy and television was a distant dream, and many ordinary folk were still deeply superstitious and didn't venture further than their local village, let alone go on vacations to Germany. One wonders whether extreme hate propaganda like this didn't in fact fuel the Nazi Party after the war. Interestingly, the masters of persuasion who so expertly sold World War I to us in the first place would take up a new role after the war, selling consumerist products people never knew they needed, giving rise to the age of consumerism. As you can imagine, women enjoyed playing a big role in this consumerist shopping revolution. Whilst the men were busy fighting for their lives, many women took up the roles normally reserved for men before the war on the home front to help the war effort. The pretty ornate clothes prior to the war were completely out of place and impractical for working purposes, and this and the new feeling of empowerment had a huge influence on the fashion world, as women literally let their hair down by cutting it off and opted for shockingly short but comfortable dresses, an arrestable offence a mere decade earlier. Now that you've had a wee taster, you might want to check out these other videos in the series that go into more depth, such as the role that women played in World War I, mass propaganda, the precursor to the military tank, or heavy artillery guns. And don't forget to check out my channel. I've got a whole host of other stuff, cinema, early tokens, and the history of fashion. Thanks for watching.